Good evening. This is Maestro Cretella with a Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite modcast. Today, we have a 3v3 on Argus Desert Gate. Our first player is Yamaha. That's the name of like a keyboard or something. He is playing as the Techmarine. The Techmarine is a Space Marine ranged hero. Starts out with a very powerful bolter. He's good for supporting vehicles with repairs, as well as his Blessing of the Omnissiah Global, and he can also build turrets and relay beacons. Next up, we have Noisy, a many-time monthly Rumble tournament winner. Did not win the Elite Mod Championship, though. He is playing as the Blood Angels Force Commander. Force Commander is a tanky melee hero, kind of just wearing regular power armor, or it might be Artificer armor. He can knock things down, he can tie things up, he can do damage, tank damage, punch vehicles with a power fist, etc. Next up, we have Anomaly, playing as the Grey Knight Bro Captain. Bro Captain is yet another tanky melee hero. We can read Terra on his side pauldron. He is a tanky melee hero in Aegis Terminator armor. He cannot be knocked down or suppressed. Not so good for disrupting melee, but can certainly tank a lot. Next up, we've got Warhammer as another tanky melee hero, and specifically another Grey Knight Bro Captain. Then we've got Zato as a Thousand Suns Sindri Trophy Chaos Sorcerer. This is a spell-casting hero with long-range damage spells, teleportation, and some control, manipulation, etc. And then finally, we have Atlas, holding the world on his shoulders with some pretty purple armor. Another Grey Knight Bro Captain. So then, lots of power armor in this game. In fact, it's all power armor all the time, except for Scouts and Heretics. Heretics, well, they get into melee with attacks and they just instantly decide to retreat. In truth, they probably saved a lot of models by not doom blasting and committing to that engagement. And they were not going to win anyway, so actually I think that was a very good retreat. Even though he bothered to get into melee in the first place. Will this squad lose any models? And that squad of Heretics does not lose any models either, so Zato managing to lose engagements, but not lose many models. He only lost one Heretic model in that. You definitely often bleed a lot of Heretic models as a Chaos player. It's almost impossible to control that Heretic bleed, but, well, in that particular case, Zato did not take a lot of bleed. We've got a bunch of Stormtroopers out of here from Batman. Between our Grey Knight players, both Anomaly and Batman are going for a triple Inquisitorial Stormtrooper build. Usually considered pretty strong, even though Inquisitorial Stormtroopers are very squishy, but generally considered cost-effective, good for just kiting and basically just doing range fire. You can usually distract the attention of your opponent's units with the Bro Captain, of course, and the Stormtroopers do damage in bursts, so they shoot a bit, do a lot of damage, and then they like stop and reload. Like right now they're stopped, so their damage isn't like as steady as, well, other ranged units, but they just get a lot out of their little burst. Chaos Space Marines right here, probably going to lose a model, but some Doom Bolts go in. Doom Bolts actually mostly missing, so Chaos Space Marines, and, well, they don't lose any models, so what am I talking about? Assault Marines now, I was going to say jumping in, but they're not really jumping in. They're more leaping in, not using their assault jump. One model gets knocked down by the Bro Captain's special attack. Scouts right here lose a model, probably going to lose another. They're going to need to get out of there, upgrading to elite training already so that they can infiltrate and, well, do stuff with infiltrating, but down to one model. This model needs to be retreated, Noisy. I mean, you're drawing away that Bro Captain, but what are you going to get by keeping that scout on the field? Nothing, and he just loses two models, doesn't really achieve anything out of that. And we've got Grey Knights here from Atlas actually bashing a generator, but losing a Strike Squad model. Should have pulled that Strike Squad back, not lose that model. 1-to-1 cap, still 498 to 500. Oh my god, Grenade Launcher Stormtroopers doing a ton of damage to Heretics. So far, the models are still alive on these Heretics, but they're losing a lot of health. Now the models are not alive anymore. And a lot of models died that time. Bro Captain, oh, trying to approach the Havoc, but actually what saved the Havoc there was being behind this indestructible tank trap. Ooh, take out the Bro Captain anyway. Pretty close, but not quite. So yeah, the Bro Captain just kind of stutter-stepped around this tank trap, couldn't just go right through it. Otherwise, I think he would have been able to get to the Havoc. So that's good to know. Put your setup teams behind these like indestructible tank traps, or just any cover that's indestructible. Barbed wire right here is not so indestructible. Anyway, Stormtroopers leading in, not so great against double tax and a Techmarine. We've got double tax here? Yeah, double tax and a Techmarine. A ton of range fire early on. And it looks like a hero went down since I saw a plus 30 mark, but no, that's not true. All of the heroes are still alive, so that can't be. Anyway, we've got flamer attacks, as well as non-flamer attacks, as well as Techmarine moving in. Here comes some generator defense from the Heretics. I feel like, though, if they start focusing down the Heretics shouldn't do that much damage, but one squad gets into melee, but is going to get wiped and just fully gets wiped. Yeah, that was not a good approach. Yeah, who is this? This is, of course, Zato, the only cast player. Wow, and he loses both squads of Heretics. So, unfortunately, that was not quite a good play by him, and I feel like this wasn't his lane, so he may have just sent his Heretics over here and then forgot about them. Yeah, now he's just WTFing. Doesn't know what happens to them. I mean, even if he was intentionally committing to that engagement, it was not a good engagement. The Techmarine can be very, very powerful against melee. Not so much even by having actual melee counters, but just because if you go with a build like double tax and a Techmarine, you just have so much ranged fire that you'll just do so much range damage on to any melee units on approach. Especially the squishiest melee unit in the game, Heretics. Well, it's debatable whether or not they're actually the squishiest. They do have the lowest health per model, and of course they do have an ability where you're voluntarily killing those models. Although their total starting health is higher than the total starting health of a squad of Sluggaboys. So anyway, more Grey Knights pushing up to bash generators. Stormtroopers, well, still not that powerful, even though their burst damage is kind of good. So they bash generators somewhat slowly, and the Bro Captain will just distract those scouts from Noisy. Noisy with 2 scouts. I don't know if he just went... I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Noisy just went 2 scouts into Assault Marines. I don't think he lost attack squad or anything. Anyway, a whole bunch of units coming out right here from the Space Marines, and a flank. This is a flank from, well, from Noisy, I think. But yeah, a flank from Noisy, and that sends Atlas retreating. Needs to get his strikes out of there before they lose a model. Too late, loses a model, loses 2 models. Ouch. So that's a lot of extremely expensive reinforcing for him. Bro Captain might go down in retreat as well, and in fact he does. So Atlas hurting a little bit from that last engagement. Will we even see a grenade from these scouts? They should be able to. Energy is on cooldown, or, well, they did not have full energies, so maybe the grenade was actually on cooldown. Assault Marines jump in, and Assault Marines jump in again. Or maybe that was the Raptors jumping in, I forget. Anyway, this is now not a winning engagement for the Space Marines. Going to need to get these, definitely going to need to get the Assault Marines out of there, but there goes a grenade on the Havoc, so pretty nice. And does not kill a model. I feel like if the timing on that was slightly better, it could have resulted in like 2 models dying. If you actually get the just the grouping right, it is possible to wipe out a Havoc squad, even just 1 grenade. But the positioning of the grenade as well as the squad itself needs to be really exactly right. It's happened to me before. That's how I know. Anyway, Force Commander is going to go down. I think. Nope. Sorcerer does not have the Sword of Flame, so he just does not do enough damage in melee, and instead the Sorcerer goes down, so, ooh, not so well played there. Anyway, what is this? Inferno Cannon Dreadnought, the best unit in the game. I love this thing. I once did really well with an Inferno Cannon Dreadnought the one time I used it, so, yeah, Inferno Cannon Dreadnought, definitely fantastic. I'm not actually sure, but 22.22 Flame DPS with soft suppression and splash damage in radius 7. Noisy, however, does not approve of the Flamer Dread choice. But hey, let's look at it here. Uh-oh, gonna get shot out by a Vindicator Assassin. Vindicator Assassin now has the stealth suit. Forget it. Forget that word. Just it's the stealth suit. Definitely bashing power really quickly, but he's also now taking damage from the Vindicator Assassin. Vindicator Assassin has used his ability, which I don't remember the exact name, but it's an ability that increases his damage for a period of time. However, after the ability wears off, he will have increased cooldown between shots. Anyway, we can see his infiltration doesn't work on energy the way most infiltrations do. Instead, he infiltrates when in cover, kind of like a Company of Heroes 2 sniper. Anyway, Purifier is now out for Batman. He's got Purifiers. They do have their Justicar. It has the Davian Thule head on that Justicar, which of course looks pretty cool. Anyway, apparently way more things going on here. We have the Thousand Suns Autocannon Dreadnought with just a lot of stuff going on. Raptors jumping in, Interceptors jumping in, and a blue team actually not looking that well in this engagement. And here is a Grey Knight Terminator Librarian getting the Kodacum Turnip. Gives him the Shrouding ability. We even have a single strike squad just standing around. I actually thought he was a librarian for a second, but he's not. He's a strike squad. Take a look at the Thousand Suns Dreadnought. How cool is that? Anyway, here we go again with the Vindicator Assassin using his ability. And, wow, two Purifier models need to go down. I think those Purifiers need to get out of there. But even worse, the Interceptors, wow. I was going to say they need to get out of there. If they were not Interceptors, they would not have been able to teleport out of there, and they would have died. Bro Captain taking too much damage. Pushing hard for this Vindicator Assassin. He will do probably a lot of damage per swing. Takes out like a third of the Vindicator Assassin's health with one swing. That Vindicator Assassin needs to get the hell out of there. He does not want to die. Anyway, Autocannon Dreadnought moving in, doing some really, really light anti-vehicle damage to the Grey Knight Dreadnought. Grey Knight Dreadnought. I feel like the Grey Knight Dreadnought should start lighting up these heretics. I think it would, like, make short work of them. Is Zato going to lose another squad of heretics? I think he is. Alright, yes he did. He's playing that Sorcerer like Maestro Cortella. Anyway, Stormtrooper squad goes down for Atlas, so squad loss for him. I think he's got to be careful about this one. But Assault Marines only at half health. They are going to start losing models. And we have the Interceptors in here doing surprisingly well. Of course, they're a melee unit up against Tactical Marines. Tactical Marines instead decide they got to go. But Interceptors do lose one model. And the Terminator Librarian. Oh, that's not the Brocap. Terminator Librarian still here. Terminator Librarian, obviously pretty tanky himself. It's like having another tanky melee hero. He is pretty tough. You do definitely need to be careful with the Terminator Librarian, though, since there's definitely the temptation to use him in melee combat and tank damage with him because he's actually pretty good at that. You just really got to be careful about like not losing him, because if you lose him, that's a pretty big loss. And yeah. And you can't buy him back or get him revived like a Bro Captain. Anyway, Stormtroopers going down in retreat. Oh man, that Hell Fury doing a lot of damage to those Stormtroopers. Not losing too many models. Las Cannon from This Is Noisy sets up the Dreadnought from Zato, now taking shots. He's just about to get it out of the firing arc. Might get one more shot off. Nope, it shoots at the Strike Squad. Does not get a hit, and Strike Squad only at 2 models, but charging at those Devastating Marines does force them off. So double cap for the blue team, but VP is otherwise even. And now we have a multi-melta Space Marine Dreadnought from Yamaha. Short range, anti-all damage. So anti-all, it can of course do anti-vehicle damage. Actually really good against infantry too, because it does so much damage in a single shot. Really gives those infantry models. Give the Raptor model. Canticle of Absolution active from Atlas's Row Captain. Generally a pretty strong ability for him, since it prevents opponents from using their abilities, which is pretty damn important in this game. You really need your abilities. Anyway, Purifier's pushing hard. I'm not sure why. They're not going to do that well against the Dreadnought, especially now with all the support it's getting. Here we go with that ability from the Terminator Librarian. Kind of just creates a bubble that will actually knock back any units that try to walk through it. It's actually pretty nice. Anyway, blue team with a double cap and now taking the lead in VPs and also bashing this generator with this awesome Inferno Cannon Dreadnought. I love this unit. I don't know why people bash it. Anyway, multi-melta Space Marine Dreadnought, however, doing pretty nicely, and there goes the Terminator Librarian again. Getting out of there alive, luckily. He's at level 1, 900 health. Not bad, actually. And Chaos Dreadnought now upgraded with the Mark of Tzeentch, and to be honest, oh my god, that went down so quickly. Did not even get to finish my long-winded prediction of it going down. Well, yeah, just so many things. The Las Cannon from the Devastators, a Multi-Melta from the Dreadnought, and of course the Melta-Bomb from the Assault Marines took that Dreadnought out. Took like 500 hit points out of that Dreadnought in like a second. Anyway, blue team now, well, I was going to say threatening a triple, but no, because red team takes the middle, or they just decap the middle. And here we go with a flank from Noisy as well as Noisy. Noisy and Noisy. Yeah, I think it's just Noisy. I was a little confused because there's a bit of a different color scheme on the Assault Marines than like the Scouts and the Force Commander, which I think is actually just particular to the Blood Angels scheme in the Elite mod. Anyway, Autocannon Havoc from Zato. Let's take a closer look, actually, at some of those Thousand Suns. So they definitely got some of those Rubric Marine-inspired helmets, and Thousand Suns helmets, or just whatever. Still got that big-ass autocannon, though. Anyway, Sniper Scouts about to take some pot shots at a nearly dead Strike Squad. I think this Strike Squad is, yeah, that Strike Squad needs to get the heck out of there. And it just seems like Atlas is over here just trying to bash generators in a very low-key way. Just send a few units over here, and we're definitely at a point in the game. We've got most players either going to Tier 3 or already there, so we're at a point in the game where the bottom lane is really a lot less influential, and Stormtrooper squad going to go down here. And usually on this map, once you get to like Tier 3 or just in the late game in general, the bottom lane really starts mattering a lot less, and it's the bottom lane player will usually start shifting to the middle. Anyway, we've got the Multi-Melta Dreadnought charging in. I think it needs to be a little careful. It's getting shot at by the Cast Havocs, but the Havocs are going to get wiped. If they get wiped, Assault Marines jump in, they might get wiped too. Alright, they're not going to get wiped. Look at how much damage these Paladins took. They were at full health at the start of that engagement. They got hit by marked target. This is a Terminator Librarian, and he is definitely going to go down. There's a hit, there's another one. End of the Terminator Librarian. Ouch. All because of a knockback. And here comes that level 2, almost level 3 Inferno Cannon Dreadnought. Who says this thing isn't good? This thing is fantastic. It's doing work. Anyway, Grey Knight Terminators for Batman. There we go. Ooh, I love that ability. That's like a grab. That ability, well, it didn't actually happen there, I think, because the Interceptors ran away, but the Grey Knight Terminators have an ability that's very similar to the anti-grav grenade of the Warp Spider Exarch, where they will actually levitate a targeted squad, or I think it's more in an area. It looks pretty cool. I don't know if it's actually that good, though. Ooh, suppression from the Inferno Cannon Dreadnought. I mean, how good is this thing? It suppresses too? It says soft suppression, but you know what? Those Chaos Space Marines got suppressed. We've got Melt-A-Gun Raptors. Don't see this very often, but, I mean, not that it's not good, but, well, just very situational. Raptors themselves, I feel like, somewhat situational, and then the Melt-A-Guns as well. Even though, I mean, I think they can be very powerful, too, but you need to have Raptors in the first place, and personally, a lot of times, I don't have Raptors in the first place. That actually makes me think. What if you could what if you actually just straight up decided to buy Raptors in Tier 2 and upgrade them to Melt-A-Guns, and actually do that as an anti-vehicle choice? Oh, I'm surprised those Stormtroopers made it through. I think Yamaha dropped his micro there. It just dropped an opportunity. He should have been able to take out that Stormtrooper squad. I don't think it would have actually been that big of a deal if he did, though. But anyway, Multi-Melta Dreadnought, unfortunately reaching the end of its lifespan. We've got units chasing after it. It'll be a close call, although now the Paladins and, well, as the Purifiers... Oh my god! That actually definitely was the ability from the Terminators. I didn't fully catch it, but it was pretty cool. And now we even have the, I believe it's the Holy Ground ability from the Paladins. Oh my god, Grey Knight's actually absolutely dominating this engagement. Nearly take out Vanguard veterans for Noisy. Zato has like no units. Where did they go? Maybe they got burned alive by the Grey Knight Dreadnought that's now level 3 with its awesome Inferno Cannon. Anyway, we have another unit that's nearly dying right here. Interceptors at 2 models, and Chaos Raptors, well, you know, they should be very threatening. They throw a Melt-A-Bomb. They need to move back, though, make sure they're not getting tied up. And unfortunately, they are getting tied up, so they're not really going to be able to do much to the Grey Knight Dreadnought if they're tied up. even though I think they can do some very good damage if they're not tied up. Some very, very nice knockback from the Paladins. Oh my god, they're absolutely destroying that Stormtrooper squad. A real David and Goliath fight, though, where David is definitely not winning. But Atlas going for the revive on Zato does level him to 4. We've got a fully upgraded Bro Captain, also with the Nemesis Warding Staff. I think it looks like the damage for that has actually been toned down a little bit, but can still be a pretty powerful ability, pretty powerful weapon because of the ability that it grants. Anyway, we've got Grey Knight Terminators moving in. They're starting to attack the Grey Knight Dreadnought with their halberds. They will do a little bit of damage, and I mean, if we look right here, we actually see the health of the Grey Knight Dreadnought going down. And here we go with a Land Raider Crusader. Where did this even come from? I didn't even see it. Was it called in at, like, base or something? So some more ward on those Grey Knight Terminators, making them even tankier than they already are. But even Grey Knight Terminators definitely not going to be able to take on a Land Raider Crusader. They just do not really have a significant source of damage against it. And I think they'll just take too much damage on approach. And also, the Nemesis Warding Staff now has that new model, which looks really, really cool. It's got a skull on it. Anyway, double cap for the red team after, well, they're obviously clearly behind in VPs. There was a time when the VPs were actually really even, where they both had around 400, but, yeah, just not anymore. So I think we see more of that low-key attempted generator bashing by Atlas, but yeah, again, at this point in the game, he's risking losing his Stormtroopers, and not just risking, he is in fact losing his Stormtroopers. And you know what? To be honest, if he doesn't go for a Grey Knight Dreadnought or a Land Raider Crusader, maybe he doesn't even need Stormtroopers. I don't think he even bothered upgrading those, but he just kept losing them. So we're not seeing... Well, the red team does not have a whole lot of units. Batman, though, managing to keep his Vindicare Assassin alive. I don't know how much it's actually doing, though. It's only halfway to level 2. I feel like Vindicare Assassin, if you're keeping it alive, if it's been alive as long as it has been, I feel like it should have a little more experience than that. But anyway, we've got a Tzeentch Predator from Zato now opening fire on the Tactical Marines. Interceptors jump in, but they're going to be jumping into a world of hurt if all of this red team stuff actually starts shooting at them. So they actually teleport out really quickly, and they don't actually get hurt much at all. Now we've got Paladins kind of leading the charge. And really, the blue team has just set up a really big wall right in front of the red team's natural. So the red team at the moment is not really taking their natural, and the red team's finding themselves in retreat a little bit. A few models dying. Both sides are just kind of poking at it and poking and picking at each other, but the blue team is kind of winning over them because they're really amassing most of their forces in the middle. They've got dual Land Raiders right now. A las cannon setting up that should start shooting at this Predator. In fact, it does shoot at the Predator. Predator also has some kind of melt-a-bomb or maybe a crack grenade on it, and that's a dead Predator. So just one more shot, and Predator... Oh, Predator's not dying because the las cannon got hit by an orbital. What an orbital! Hitting so many things. I think most of these units will probably be fine because they also get reinforced and have the damage resistance buff of being near a Land Raider. So, well, the orbital definitely caught a lot of things, although I don't think they got hurt that much. And, I mean, right now, all of the Space Marine and Grey Knight stuff is just going to retreat to the Land Raiders. Or maybe not. They're just going to run away. Oh, wow, the fighting has really shifted to right in front of the red team's base. Right in their natural. We've got some Grey Knight Terminators from the red team trying to chop up these Assault Terminators who are just standing on the point to get the VP. And, well, blue team actually really putting the red team on the ropes with this VP pressure. If the blue team just sends, like, a unit up top to cap the middle, they'll really be exerting a lot of VP pressure since they have the red team right up against their base trying to reclaim their natural. And uh-oh, something here is going to die. We've got Terminators from Yamaha taking a huge amount of damage. They are done, so Terminators down for Yamaha. And we also have, uh-oh, Yamaha is falling apart. Loses the multi-melta Dreadnought that had been around like forever. And you know what? So the multi-melta Dreadnought's not down, but you know what Dreadnought is not down? Or the multi-melta Dreadnought is down, but you know what Dreadnought is not down? The Inferno Cannon. And the Inferno Cannon is almost level 4. Inferno Cannon Dreadnought. Let's see if it can last till the end of the game. So a lot of Terminator action right in front of these bases. Here is another orbital, and this one's going to be on the red team. I feel like this one's going to be a lot more painful. Some Raptors jump out of the orbital just in time, but now they're retreating. They might end up walking right into one of those beams. Can they? Yes, they do. So those Raptors actually going to go down. So Raptors go down for Zato. Yamaha lost a lot of stuff, but, well, so did Zato. And I think they're, like, just capping under fire. They're actually putting units on that point. Another nuke. Here we go with Imperial Abyss. And the Imperial Abyss is doing not much. So unfortunately that Imperial Abyss was a lot less exciting than it could have been, since I'm not sure if... I mean, models definitely died, but because it was near the Land Raiders, they could just reinforce. We've got some Stormtroopers that just fully got wiped by Paladins. Going for that point, they're literally battling on... This is a really long, extended battle for the Natural. I mean, I guess part of the reason they're able to extend this battle is that they basically have their retreat point right in front of the point. So we have kind of... Both teams are pretty close to their retreat point, just fighting hard over their Natural VP. Like, I've hardly had to pan the camera that much. Some squad of, like, Paladins or something just went down. We've got some Lightning Claw Terminators taking 1,000,000 damage. And the Grey Knight Dreadnought is, of course, still alive. This thing is, like, overpowered. And now it's in trouble, so I should probably eat my words, because it's taking damage from a Las Cannon Predator. Grey Knight Dreadnought gets out alive. I hear Space Marines on the field. We have another Land Raider Redeemer. This one looks nothing like the other Land Raider Redeemer. In fact, it looks a lot like this Land Raider Crusader. Something went down. It was a Techmarine for Yamaha. Well, we'll see if he gets him back. But we do have the Force Commander right here, level 8 with the Sacred Standard. My god. Level 8 with the Sacred Standard. That is some pretty crazy Force Commander action. Techmarine, it needs to get out of there. Yamaha, I don't know if he realized it. Instead, he gets caught by that levitation ability from the Grey Knight Terminators. Pretty cool. And now he's going to go down again. If the Grey Knight Terminators just attack the Techmarine, then he does go down again. Yeah, Grey Knight Terminators have to watch out for the Assault Terminators, since the Assault Terminators will be doing a lot more damage with their Lightning Claws. Oh no, pull back the Grey Knight Dreadnought. Level 4 Inferno Cannon. Needs to get repairs. Make that thing a priority. Here we go with some Red Team, though. Red Team actually capturing or decapping the middle VP, so that now it is a no-cap game. I feel like VPs have actually... Well, the VPs have changed hands a lot, but the actual count of the VPs hasn't changed much. It's just been going down very, very slowly. Noisy about to lose his Force Commander, gets the revive, and gets the Techmarine to retreat. They might just be retreating to the Land Raiders. Triple Land Raiders. My god, this is ridiculous. We do have some Interceptors jumping in. How do you break this triple Land Raider stuff? We do have the Phobos going in. That's what's going to break it, because the Phobos does so much anti-vehicle damage. The other Land Raiders don't really do that much. It's just got to watch out from some close-range purgations and another... We have yet another orbital bombardment, because we have so many Space Marines. One Land Raider goes down. Another Land Raider so close. Well, this Chaos Predator is taking too much damage from these purgations, so we're just standing there. But man, one Land Raider nearly dead. If they move forward even just a little bit with the Land Raider Phobos, they would definitely take out this Land Raider Redeemer, but has to watch out for these Devastator Marines set up in a totally wrong firing arc. But yeah, they should be able to finish off this Land Raider Redeemer pretty easy, although they would have to worry about... It would definitely expose them a bit to the Devastators, which keep setting up in the wrong direction. Wow, and the red team actually now pushing the blue team back, pushing back the triple Land Raider play. It's ridiculous. And now we have Paladins pushing forward pretty hard to go for the Land Raider Crusader. Oh my god, that was awesome. We had the Venge Red drop right on top of their own units, which does mean these Paladins now have to be very, very careful. Because they are in here alone, pushing hard for the Land Raider Crusader, but they get knocked over by a Dreadnought, so they should definitely teleport out of there. It's not worth it anymore, because they are probably going to lose Paladins, and he's just committing to it, and unfortunately that was a terrible, terrible idea. It's finally quiet for a little bit, but the Techmarine goes down again. This is it. Well, he's a level 9 Techmarine, but he's also going down a lot. Anyway, Vanguard veterans jump in. They've got the Power Fist. Ooh, we've got even exact statistics for this now. 50 heavy melee DPS and Plasma Pistol 7.82. Very nice. Effective against all targets. Bro Captain, what are you doing? Way too much stuff. Anyway, we have a Bro Captain getting revived right here. Level 4 Bro Captain from Anomaly. Actually seems like a relatively low level considering the other levels we're seeing. Level 10 Force Commander from our many-time monthly tournament winner. Level 3 Sorcerer. Level 9 Bro Captain. Level 6 Bro Captain. Dead Grey Knight Dreadnought. Or, not Grey Knight. Venerable Dreadnought. Actually, it's not dead. I was just kidding. But here come the Grey Knights coming in to make that Dreadnought dead. Lightning Claw Terminators, so many Terminators. You know, as much as people definitely at sometimes complain or about there being too much power armor and, or sometimes just not even complain. Sometimes they just want the variety of seeing the other races in the game actually used. You know what? I mean, all this Terminator on Terminator action is actually really freaking awesome, so I don't have a problem with it. Anyway, Vindicator Assassin just might finish off the Venerable Dreadnought. The Vindicator Assassin, yes, and the Vindicator Assassin gets off another shot, and this Venerable Dreadnought is going down, and it looks like the red team is actually taking the lead in this particular engagement, but they are running out of so much time on the VPs. They need to put a squad on the point, and it's going to be the Vindicator Assassin of all things, I think, going for the VP. They really just need something on the point. They need to stop that VP timer. They don't have time, down to 23 VPs, and of course it's going to take more time just to get something on the point. Meanwhile, another Terminator call in. Here we've got ranged Terminators from Yamaha, who has been losing units left and right. Vindicator Assassin does get the decap, leaving the red team with 18 VPs. And here is more nukes. Things going down from the Land Raiders. Another Imperial Abyss doing, I think, not a whole lot, but definitely a Land Raider Phobos going to finish off a Land Raider Redeemer. And three Land Raiders now down to 1 for the blue team. And, well, head-to-head, the blue team Land Raider not going to win against the red team Land Raider, even with the substantial health advantage that the Land Raider Crusader has. The Land Raider Phobos just has that massive long-range AV damage potential that the Crusader just doesn't have. Anyway, and now it's the red team actually camping right in front of the blue team's natural VP, and now it is an orbital bombardment right on top of 2 Havocs. Unfortunately, it catches Zato blinking. Oh my god, Zato, really? Oh no. I thought there was going to be another beam right on top of these Heretics, but the Heretics actually just standing there and being just fine. And so many units dying. The red team has like no units left. They had so many more, or the blue team has like no units left, especially Yamaha. They had so many more units than the red team. And they just lost it. Anyway, really, really tanky Bro Captain right here. It just might go down trying to revive the Sorcerer, and in fact he does. And the Sorcerer is going to go down too. Oh no. And Zato loses the Sorcerer as well, so unfortunately that wasn't worth it. And none of the players on the red team have the money or the resources or the requisition to even buy back their heroes. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to do about that. They're just going to have to make do without their heroes. Techmarine level 10 with a plasma gun and Signum armor. Mark target on him. Having him use Mark Target and then the Signum Armor, he's going to do a massive amount of damage to any, just about everything around. Like especially Paladins, Grey Knight Terminators. But he keeps on getting caught by the Holocaust ability. That's what it is. The Holocaust ability by the Grey Knight Terminators lifts up units in an area, levitates them, drops them, and apparently does plasma damage. Which, by the way, does a bonus to heavy infantry, which there's plenty of right now. Here are some Thousand Suns Terminators, looking pretty cool. They do also have just that, whatever that hat is on top of them. Otherwise, though, they do look like the Chaos Terminators that have always been in Elite. Chaos Terminator, so good. Anyway, Interceptors in retreat, taking a lot of damage. Grenade goes in, but that's a Psych Out grenade. So that did not do a whole lot of damage. If any. I don't know if it actually did any damage. Victory looms for someone. But who? We actually don't know, because a red team has the double cap, but the blue team is moving into decap. And we're just going to have a total clash of forces right here. But I mean, the red team does not have as much stuff, so it looks like the blue team is at the very least going to get the decap off. And for all we know, this could be the end of the game right here. Scouts are still capping. We're going to need more stuff. We're going to need the scouts to somehow get off the point. Because if the red team does not get them off the point, that will be the end of the game in favor of the blue team. There's really not a whole lot of time. Or they're going to need to immediately recap this point. Otherwise, that's going to be the end. And it looks like they're letting the shotgun scouts capture. Except here is the red team actually decapping the blue team's natural. So, never mind. And it's actually just evened out at a 1-to-1. And VPs are not ticking down at all. So much firepower coming out of the Land Raider Crusader. We've got Purgations right next to it. We've got a new Land Raider deployed. This is Yamaha's second Land Raider. And not only do we have the red team having decapped the blue team's natural, they actually now have the full cap. So it's actually a double cap for the red team. It was looking like it was going to be the blue team game right there, but it wasn't. So anyway, Force Commander now with the... Noisy has been rocking the Power Sword Force Commander all game. And I mean, one of the great things about that, between the Power Sword as well as the Sacred Standard, he is buffing the shit out of these Assault Terminators with Lightning Claws. They're doing a ludicrous amount of damage when he supports them with Battle Cry. Now he's dead though. Which means if they can get close to him, they will actually support him with even more damage. Anyway, Grey Knight Terminators right here, or rather Chaos Terminators, they could stand to get an upgrade. Either an autocannon or some Lightning Claws. I don't know. Zato does have the resources, but he's probably going for a new unit or reviving his Sorcerer. He can do... well, he doesn't really have that much for a new unit. He doesn't have enough requisition. Anyway, a lot of autocannon fire actually going in on this Land Raider Redeemer. It's taking a lot of damage. And, oh, there goes Hell Fury to try to scare off the Purgations, but Hell Fury is not that strong, especially not against level 4 Purgations. But one of the Purgation squads actually goes down. It was the level 1 Purgation. The level 4 Purgation still alive. 2-to-1 cap for the red team. I feel like this is going to be a... that was supposed to be like a Venerable right on top. Oh, no, not a Venerable. That was a new Assault Terminator call-in, going for these Grey Knight Terminators that are just capturing the point, and decided that they really needed to hit this +5 requisition. Another Imperial Abyss from... wow, Zato has done like 3 Imperial Abysses, so he's had something like 1,500 red this game. Unfortunately, the Imperial Abysses are not really proving to be that strong. Anyway, this is a new Predator out of Zato. He did have a Lascannon Predator at some point, but it obviously went down because this Predator has no mark whatsoever. Red team still with the double cap, and now they are looking to take this game. So we've got the Grey Knight Terminators actually getting the decap for the red team. More Grey Knight Terminators jumping in. Grenade goes off, does a fair amount of damage, but doesn't kill any of the models. And looks like the red team pulling this game out of their asses. They were behind so much. They had no VPs. They had no units. They had 3 Land Raiders camped in front of their natural VP, and somehow they won. So that was pretty cool. Let's take a look at this. Oh, this is a dead Terminator on his back with an assault cannon. Well, that was a pretty awesome game. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good night.